Hello and welcome to Friday's Granada Reports, live with the latest across the northwest.
Hello there. On the programme this evening,
counting the cost of Storm Arwin as hundreds of homeowners remain without power after a week, the energy regulator launches an urgent review into the response.
I can think of at least one death that is likely to have been caused by a loss of heat, people being very, very, very cold and having triggered other health conditions. I can think of many, many more cases of severe hardship.
to cancel or not to cancel, the big question over Christmas parties rumbles on, but just how is it affecting the hospitality industry here in the northwest? And have you decided what you are going to do? Manchester City Council's first female leader pledges to tackle inequality and build more affordable homes.
Diagnosed with type 2 diabetes at 12, why the condition's on the rise in our region and what can be done to prevent it.
And a floating Earth with mermaids in the water swimming through plastic pollution. We're live at a spectacular light show with a message about saving the planet.
Lots to come on the programme, but first this evening, and to the desperate calls from our region for more support as hundreds of people remained without power a week after Storm Arwin battered parts of the northwest.
The power cut has been linked to at least one death in South Cumbria, and today the energy regulator launched an urgent review into the network's response.
A cap on compensation has also been removed. It means households can now claim up to £140 a day every day they're without power.
But why has it taken so long to complete repairs, and when will those moved into temporary accommodation finally be able to return home?
Sarah Rogers has tonight's top story.
Volunteers in the small village of Cartmel in Cumbria work to identify the most vulnerable people who've endured a week without power.
They are elderly, they are vulnerable, they have got young children, they have got animals, livestock, and we're a week on. They just do not know what to do.
Storm Arwin was dubbed one of the worst in decades, leaving thousands in the dark. But residents say they've relied on community spirit so far. But after a week without electricity, their spark has completely gone.
Last night, a lot of the properties that had been restored electricity, they all went off again today and generators failed. So we were starting from scratch today with a hall, a mobile phone, a 40-year-old phone, and no phone mast.
In Scotland and the North East, the army has been drafted in to help, but not in the North West.
They just now feel completely fobbed off.
This has caused real problems. I mean, I can think of at least one death that is likely to have been caused by a loss of heat, people being very, very, very cold and having triggered other health conditions. I can think of many, many more cases of severe hardship, of a newborn baby having to be taken by his frightened young parents into the car just for warmth. And I feel that at the beginning there wasn't anything like the kind of concerted response that we would have expected and wanted.
Well, this is the damage that the supplier Electricity North West say that they're facing. They've drafted in engineers from across the country.
The work here illustrates how difficult it is to effect all of these repairs. So coming down the valley here, the line has 18 spans coming right down the valley for about 20 houses. Of those 18 spans, only 16 are still standing, where multiple trees have fallen onto each one, pulling down the wires.
But an explanation is of little comfort to many. Now, the crisis has prompted the regulator Ofgem to launch a review into the response of energy companies, as well as promising compensation. Now, the intention is for everybody to be back on tonight, but this is a promise residents have been hearing all week. They hope this time is the last. Sarah Rogers, ITV News.
Yeah, we hope so too, for all their sakes. Well, it's the first Friday in December, and usually the Christmas party season will be in full swing, but many of the region's restaurants, bars and hotels are reporting huge numbers of cancellations after mixed messages from the government on socialising in the wake of the new Omicron variant of coronavirus.
Yes, the hospitality industry had been hoping for a buoyant December this year after lockdown restrictions over the past 18 months. Mel Barham is at a newly opened restaurant in Manchester, hoping to weather the storm. Mel.
Yeah, Gamal, welcome to Nami Kitchen and Cocktails. This is a brand new independent bar and restaurant here in Manchester city centre. It only opened on the 1st of November, and this was supposed to be the start of a really busy period of parties in the run-up to Christmas, but like so many bars and restaurants across the northwest, it has fallen victim to cancellations over fears of that new variant of coronavirus. Well, joining me now is the sales manager here, John. John, just tell us what the last few days have been like for you.
Just crazy, overwhelming, dealing with the repercussion of the message that was sent out earlier this week with many cancellations.
And how damaging has that been for your business?
I mean, extremely. You know, we rely in this part of the year on large bookings, and unfortunately they don't feel safe or uncertain to go ahead. Therefore, we're losing thousands of pounds because of cancellations.
But what is your message to people who may have booked and now just don't know what to do?
I just like to reassure them that it is a safe and controlled environment, that we have things in place to make the guest and the customer feel safe in this very controlled environment.
Thank you, John, for talking to us. Well, this place is by no means alone with those cancellations. The nighttime advisor, economy advisor for Greater Manchester told us that the whole hospitality industry has been affected.
It's complete uncertainty out there. We've seen, haven't we, since Tuesday, the mixed messaging coming out of Number 10. On one hand, you've got somebody saying, don't socialise. On the other hand, you've got somebody saying, no, do socialise. And actually, the second that person came out and said, don't, the phone started ringing across most restaurants, theatres, hotels, and it's decimating the industry.
Well, no mixed messages from Greater Manchester tonight. The Director of Public Health telling me he's not telling people to cancel their plans.
We're saying to people, you've been sensible so far, let's be pragmatic. Let's make sure we do LFD tests before we attend our Christmas parties or any indoor events. As I say, importance of good ventilation, importance of wearing face coverings on public transport. But we're definitely saying to people, continue with your plans, make sure those plans are robust. But we're definitely not recommending any cancellation of events that are planned because we know how important it is.
Well, one final message from the hospitality industry tonight. If you are going to cancel, please do it early and give places plenty of time of notice. Mel Barham in Manchester city centre, thanks for that.
Well, next, and yesterday we brought you the story of a little girl named Molly who was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes when she was just 3 years old.
Well, as well as type 1, type 2 diabetes is also on the rise among our region's children, with health experts worried about the increasing rates of childhood obesity.
In the second of our special reports on the disease, Jamal Williams-Thomas has been speaking to a mum and dad from Clayton in Greater Manchester, whose son is living with the condition.
He was really unwell, to be fair. He was urinating quite often. So yeah, we had to take him for a blood test at the doctor's. Sorry.
Take time, obviously we've got time.
And yeah, it come back, he's got diabetes.
Mason was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes at the age of 12. Not only was he told he had diabetes, but also that he needed a new liver.
It shattered me, it really did. Just felt my whole world come to an end, but I thought it's my world, so I had to pick myself up at that point. I do feel a little guilt for that, yeah.
It's very hard, to come over the fact that I've got diabetes, and it's just everything that I've gone through in the hospital. It's just been difficult. I just don't want to have diabetes no more.
After his diagnosis, Mason and his family immediately got to work, changing their lifestyle and diet.
Yeah, fruit and vegetables, it's doable, like with lasagna, chop these and change it for the pasta sheets, like apples, 69p at the local store.
Mason stepped up his physical activity as well. He started walking with his dad and was even able to reverse the liver damage.
Normally when I get halfway up the hill, I just say, Dad, can we go back down? And then why not just push an extra boundary? I made it to the top and it was amazing. I felt like Rocky.
Unlike type 1, type 2 can be prevented with good lifestyle and diet. However, it is on the rise, with the percentage of diabetic children with type 2 doubling over the last 8 years.
So it's an alarming picture, it's a wake-up call. It's time for us to do something. It's time for us to support every child that is living with type 2 diabetes or at risk of type 2 diabetes.
The NHS offers support to families of children diagnosed with type 2 diabetes to help them better understand the condition and how to manage it.
So for type 2, the way somebody eats is really important. So we encourage healthy eating patterns, which means that we're encouraging what we call everyday foods. So that's things like starches, fruit and veg, and we talk about foods that are higher in fat and sugar as sometimes foods. So it's not like we can't have them or that we want people to feel guilty about them, but we just want to think about how often and when we have those foods.
Family support groups such as Lancelot's in Southport currently offer guidance to families of children with type 1. But if this rise continues, they're almost certain to see type 2 children walk through the door.
I'd say quite a lot of people walk in being strangers, walk away being friends, which, you know, you've got a lot of family or friends, but they won't understand how you're feeling when you're up in the middle of the night with hypos or hypers, and it's just having someone that understands and gets you, which is fabulous.
When I originally joined, I was like, I didn't know what was going to happen, but I learned a lot of stuff that I didn't think I'd know now, like, you know, ways to carb count differently and ways to answer different questions when I'm in like an anxious situation.
It makes me feel happy because I get to meet other people with diabetes.
The advice is to look out for the symptoms and get tested as soon as possible. The quicker diabetes is identified and managed, the less likely the complications down the line. Jamal Williams-Thomas, ITV News.
And you can watch both of Jamal's reports on our website, as well as find out more information about the condition in children, plus a helpline you can call. Just head to itv.com/Granada.
More of tonight's news now, and the father of murdered Liverpool schoolgirl Ava White has said the family is completely devastated and heartbroken. 12-year-old Ava had been in Liverpool city centre with friends last week when she was stabbed. In a brief statement, her father, Robert Martin, also thanked the public for their kind messages and support. A 14-year-old boy who can't be named because of his age is in custody after being charged with Ava's murder.
A busy road in Cheshire has been closed all day after a lorry crashed into an overhead gantry. It happened early this morning on Speak Road in Widnes, causing long delays. Nobody was injured in the incident. The gantry has been inspected for structural damage.
Now, the new leader of Manchester City Council says she wants to make sure everyone benefits from the city's recovery from the coronavirus pandemic.
Yes, Bev Craig, who's at 36, is the first woman to lead the council in its history and says there's still much more to do to make sure that the city is safe for everyone, regardless of race, gender or sexuality.
She joined the Labour Party in 2009 while working for Blackburn Council as an Equalities and Inclusion Policy Officer and was first elected to Manchester City Council in 2013.
And after growing up in a council house, she says social housing will be one of her top priorities. She's been speaking to our political correspondent, Leisha Manali.
Bev Craig, congratulations.
Thank you.
How are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm excited. So literally started this week, straight to work. Been really looking forward to it, so I'm really happy to get stuck in.
So what are your first priorities as you begin the new job?
As the person that led the city through the pandemic, from a health and community response perspective, COVID, I think still looms large. On top of that, there's a few key things for me. You know, I want Manchester to continue on our trajectory of becoming a well-known world-class city, but a world-class city where everybody shares its success and feels its benefit.
It's something we hear a lot from people who grew up in the city, that it's hard to find an affordable place to live. Has it been enough of a priority up until now?
Well, I grew up in council housing. My family still, rely on it to this day. And I think for me that shapes my view on how we approach housing, I think twofold. The importance of mixed communities, to have someone grow up alongside people with different jobs, different professions, I think is really important, and I think it's one of the best things that we can do for children and young people in raising hopes and aspirations. So I want us to also make sure that we're doing and building social and affordable housing across the city. Current plans at the moment see us building around about 7,000 affordable homes in the next 5 years. That's what I really love about local politics, is the ability to be really quite closely rooted in your community, to stand up for people.
You're the first female leader of Manchester City Council, the first to be openly gay. How significant do you think that is?
I would love in many ways for it to be the least interesting thing about me, but I think it does speak volumes. You know, across the country, less than 20% of council leaders are women, and I think there's still some way to go. I'm just keen to, I guess, accept the significance of it, but not let that change how people address me. You know, I'm going to be running a £1 million budget over the next 12 months. Actually, there's some real opportunities to bring fresh thinking into getting things done. You know, so people have mentioned my age, they've mentioned my gender, my sexuality, and I think behind all of that, it's reassuring people that actually, you know, yes, I'm all of these things, but I was also the best person for the job.
How well do you think Manchester is doing in terms of the safety of women and girls?
So I've said it's going to be one of my big priorities. You know, for too long, the question around women's safety has been framed on the shoulder of women, and actually it's not our fault. We're told if I want to go for a run, maybe you should go to the gym in winter, stay where it's well lit. And it's those little things that I think over a period of time become quite kind of pernicious because you accept them. You know, we've got some work coming up, particularly on Piccadilly Gardens, and my challenge will be, you know, as we reinvent Piccadilly Gardens for the future, making sure that things like lighting are fundamental to that.
Manchester City Council's only had 2 leaders since you were born. I think they each did 2 decades apiece. Are you in it for the long haul?
I'm here for as long as my Labour group want me and as long as Manchester people want me. You know, this is my dream job, which might sound a bit cheesy, but I had some great opportunities in life that when I look around, not everybody else gets. And I want to make sure I've done my bit to leave that bit of the world in a better place than it was when you started.
Bev Craig, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, she has big boots to fill after Sir Richard Lee stepped down. Now it's time to meet the third of our Advent heroes. Michelle Cardinaux set up the organisation Fight Back for Justice, which helps people appeal decisions not to give them personal independence payments.
Michelle says it's been more important than ever this year and believes she's fighting a broken system.
My name is Michelle Cardinaux. I'm one of the disability lawyers at Fight Back for Justice. We help people with disability benefit appeals. Fight Back was initially started 9 years ago, and it was designed to help people with all aspects of welfare benefits and navigate the quite difficult system, helping with appeals, applications, and generally helping with advice. We've been a lot busier, particularly with the universal credit. Obviously we had a lot of inquiries regarding that when everybody was thrown onto universal credit that had never had any experience of the benefit system before. With all the lockdowns, etc., we have continued to work as key workers because we had a lot of appeals. We did find that one of the good things to come out of the whole system is that the appeals and the DWP also recognised that a lot of things could be done over the phone, which has made things a lot easier for our clients and it's made it a lot easier for us. For 2022, we want to help as many people as we can that do come to us. The more people we help, the more our success rate grows and the more people are then given the benefits that they deserve.
Next, and to the series of spectacular light sculptures and displays that have arrived right here in Media City.
A floating earth is at the heart of the Light Waves Festival, which kicks off today. And our correspondent Rob Smith is globeside to tell us more. Rob.
Yeah, the run-up to Christmas is a time for lighting the lights, and Light Waves has certainly lit up this corner of Salford. It's a light festival with a message about trying to save the planet, and it includes A planet, the blue marble, as seen from space. 12 light sculptures all the way around here, 12 light installations, and with that environmental message from mermaids, holographic mermaids swimming in the canal next to carrier bags to highlight the issue of plastic pollution, to art that is recyclable, to light art that's sustainable, glowing dumbbells that you can play a tune on. Those are pretty cool. Jennifer Taylor is from Lightwaves. Jennifer, what do you hope you're going to inspire in the people who come to see all of this?
Now is a time to take action. We know that we need to do something to save the planet, and we just really hope that by experiencing art on this scale and out of this nature, that people will have a moment to reflect, that they could take time out of the busyness and chaos of life to really think about what our planet means to us, and whether that's because they're gazing at the beauty of planet Earth and considering how precious it is, reconsidering what it means to be on planet Earth, or whether it's because they're gazing at mermaids that are literally swimming through plastic bags.
And you're expecting 400,000 people to come. It's free,
That's
you don't
right.
have to pay. What do you hope they'll enjoy the most, apart from the big blue marble?
Well, I really hope there's something for everyone. We engage and attract people of all ages, from babes in arms who are just dazzled by the lights to older visitors who love enjoying what's on offer. So it really is something for everyone.
Jennifer, thank you very much indeed for that. It takes about an hour to walk around here. It's a mile in total. If you're thinking of something to do in the run-up to Christmas, coming to see what the planet looks like from space, not a bad way to do it. This was in Lee before. It's on a 2-stop tour of the Northwest.
Definitely. Thanks very much for that, Rob.
Yeah, I think I'm going to pay a visit on my way before I get home this evening.
We're staying with the climate because here's the weather. What's it going to be like over the weekend? Here's John.
Now that is brew weather.
And only boiling what she needs.
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada weather.
Big up you, sis.
Yes, hello again. Well, sunshine in short supply today. Conspicuous by its absence, if you like. This was the scene on the moors above Rochdale this morning. A lot of mistiness, a lot of low cloud. As you can see, still a little bit of snow on the ground. And it was a rough sea down on the Fylde at high tide. This is Norbreck between Cleveleys and Blackpool. So let's rewind to yesterday evening. A lovely scene here at sunset at Hollingworth Lake. Now, over the weekend, we've got low pressure on the weather chart. That means very unsettled weather. Lots of isobars tomorrow, indicating some strong winds. A little ridge of high pressure moving in for Sunday means that Sunday will marginally be the better day of the weekend. But back to this evening and overnight tonight, still a lot of clouds, still some outbreaks of rain feeding in from the west there, becoming quite heavy in the early hours of tomorrow morning. Too much cloud, too much wind for any frost. Low temperatures around 2 or 3 Celsius. There's your sun times for tomorrow then, up at 8:09, setting again at 3:52. So quite a lot of cloud in the morning, some showery outbreaks of rain, those showers becoming quite heavy, some of them prolonged as well, merging to give some longer spells of rain, and the air's cold enough for it to fall as snow over the high fells and the Pennines. Top temperatures 6 or 7 Celsius, very windy from the west or northwest. 45 miles per hour gusts along the coast there, and those showers gradually dying away after dark tomorrow night. And then into Sunday, well, still 1 or 2 showers in the Pennines, but some reasonable spells of sunshine, mostly dry, rather chilly in that northwesterly wind, highs of 6 Celsius, and next week some wet and windy weather on the way. Enjoy your evening.
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada weather.
2 sugars, please.
Oh, lovely.
John, thank you. And as ever, many thanks indeed for your company this week on Granada Reports.
I'll be back with the late news after news at 10. But for now, from all the team here, have a great weekend. Go and see the Light Festival. Good
Bye-bye.
night.